Test, test. Oh, look, it works. Uh-oh. Wait, NVIDIA isn't working. What's up, y'all? Have to get that fired up. See what's wrong with things. Microphone, noise removal. So far, so good. So far, so good. Good, good, good. Audio. Need that or that. Um, Test, test. Hello. Okay. Think I got everything working now. What's up, Tim? Hey, I got to get you some more towels to do for me. But I got so many things going on, and none of them seem to be working out the way I had hoped they would. So here we are. Martin, what's happening? Alex isn't going to be with us today. He's been sick since Friday, and he tried to come in this morning, but he just couldn't cut it. He's like, dude, I got to go home. I'm like, see ya. So he is out trying to recover from whatever this nasty virus is that's got him. And I'm okay with that. We're pretty slow. Got a special treat today. Things didn't go as planned. I was planning on doing some very heavy duty, intricate stuff with kegs, but I still can. That reminds me. Um, Copy. If that works. Dig nabbit. That'll work. It'll be fine. It didn't work. Let me try it again. Uh, 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 Try it again. Figured it out. Figured it out. Still don't know if it'll work or not. Alex is sick today. He is not doing well. Oh, look at that. How cool. All right. So far, so good. All right. Oh, it's still playing through here. I don't want to hear it. Oh, well. It'll be fine. Oh, you guys can probably hear an echo now. How about. Oh, wait. No, you can't hear. Okay. Got it. All right. Let's do this. Uh-oh. Okay. Sorry about that. All righty. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a little walk. See, um, it's the easiest way to do this. Okay, I got chat. I got this. I got that. Ayana forgot to remind me that I had a keg to wrap. So she's gonna come hold the camera. Oh, it's a beer wrap. So there's a keg. Ayana's already got it set up. But we can use today to talk about kegs, maintenance of kegs. Oh, camera's reversed. That's weird. We don't want that. I don't even know how to work it. Let me push this button. Push this button. Local settings. Video. Mirror camera. No. That's better. Okay. All right. This may or may not work. But we're going to wrap a keg because this customer would probably like to get their keg today. Or, well, as soon as it can get there. All right, I've done this many times on stream. Unfortunately, I only ever seem to post them when I do them, and so they get lost. But wrapping a keg is really, really simple. Most of the time, people will find themselves making it way harder than it really is, because if you're anything like me, we like to overthink things. But the way we do our wraps is we tend to center the, at least on the standard wraps, we center the logo on the sheet, and on the back side of the keg, there's the weld line where they weld the tank together. So we just start there, and that gives us a basic center point, and then we bring this all the way around here, and most of the time it's going to be crooked like this. So we will take it and straighten it until it's lined up there, lined up there. Now, that in itself isn't enough to do this, so what we tend to do is we use tape as a hinge. So I will take my little tape just to hold it in place. Right now I use my elbows, and I do this every time. You think I'd learn to have the tape ready before I did this, but I don't know, it's part of the routine. Then we pull tight just to make sure that we're still lined up on the top and on the bottom. And then I'll let this side go, and I'm holding this still. And then I'll come from here, and I'll just lay this piece of tape down. And then I'll come over here, same thing, lay this piece of tape down, and I like to make sure that that stays flat right there. And as long as I got that, I could take the big piece and put it over there. And that creates basically like a piano handle. Now, no matter how much I move this around, when I pull this back straight and tight, it's going to line up right here and right here to give me a good line. The tank is mostly flat, and the way that they print these vinyl typically is like a stretch don't shrink kind of a material, opposite to window tint, but it does shrink on the sides that window tint would shrink, but only slightly. It's not like you could shrink it to fit a back glass, but these little bevels here, you can't shrink it. So then, so I can make it a one-man operation, I'll set that at the end of the table, and I just hold it down flush at the very end. And what that does is it keeps my sheet nice and flat, nice and smooth, so that, you know, we used to do it with two people and have somebody hold it at the other end, and the problem was where your fingers were pulling would create ripples, and then it became really difficult to do. So this really is like wrapping with training wheels, if you will, because now I can set it up here and all by myself with no assistance from anybody else. I can just peel this off. My line still stays straight. This is still here, and I can pull it out here a little bit, pull it out just a little bit more. Then have yourself a handy paper cutter. You can use your Olfa knife if you wish, but I find a paper cutter to be a little easier. And then I just used to just throw these in the trash can, but if you don't roll them up first, they take up a lot of space. Do we have any comments yet?
It's Heat Town. He said yes, and then my way I got another press to might have two both in action.
Oh, talking about the towels. Now, one thing that's really hard to get is getting this to be non-ripply, because just because it's taped there and taped here doesn't mean it's going to lay flat. I don't know if you can see it with the camera angle, but if I pull it this way, I get a little bit of a ripple. If I pull it this way, I get a little bit of ripple. Also, if I pull it too tight, I'll get a little bit of a ripple, but if I don't pull it tight enough, I'll get a little bit of a ripple. So this is where the learning curve is. I've been doing this for a minute, but I haven't done it a lot lately. So, well, yesterday I did 5 of them, so there's that. But today I haven't done one, so we can go with that. So I'm going to pull just a little bit of tension, and then I'm just going to roll it in. And my hands just kind of slipped. If you start to slip or it doesn't feel right, stop. You're good. You can always pull back just a little bit and reset. Get your tension again. Make sure you don't have any ripples. Make sure you're not off side to side, and then just roll that sucker right in there. And you're going to hit the tape. You take your hand and just kind of set that. Fold that over. It's going to stick with the tape. Very handy. And the reason I folded the yellow tape is so that it would come up with the blue tape when I peeled that up. And then from here, it's pretty simple. You just want to set that edge right there. And if I did this right, well, I can show you if I did it right or if I did it wrong. If I did it wrong, I'll show you what to do about that. But if I did it right, then I'll just tell you, see, I'm the best. But we're going to peel this off. And now we can take our little felt card. I like the suede blades because they're very handy. I've used so many different things. In fact, here's one that I used to use that actually has magnets in it. I used to use felt on one side, then I had those felt strips. Those just wear out real fast. Alex was trying a wrap glove for a little bit. We've done the MacTac thing, but bottom line is I go down to the suede blade because it's just good for me. But you can take this and just like you're plowing snow, mowing lawns, anything, or probably more like plowing snow, but you'll just kind of bring it in at an angle. If you just shove this way, you're going to start forming ripples at the end, and you don't want that. So you always want that to be a little bit at an angle. And as you can see here on my ends, it's not 100%, but it is pretty damn close. And I told you if it didn't line up perfect, I would show you what to do about that. So when you got contrasting colors like that, you can take this little sliver right here, and you can just blend that right into there. I don't know if I got it because I think I slipped. Oh, there it goes. But then you got that. Now you got ripples all around the edges. If you feel this, and you should feel this because you might have bubbles here, like I got a little bit of a ripple bubble here, and we use air egress vinyl, so we can just push that bubble right on out. It's funny because normally I don't get the little bubbles. Always have yourself something handy also, just in case you trap something inside. I keep a shank handy because if you happen to have to, and I don't have to, but I'll show you anyways. If you happen to have to lift up, you can get one of these little puckers and you can put this sucker in here all the way up to here, you know, reaching something. So if you trap something in there, or you have, sometimes you'll crease it because you're just in a hurry, or you're worried about one thing and you're not looking at the other, and it's always the other. But what I'll tend to do is just kind of lock these down all the way up to where that bevel starts. And I don't try to push it all the way to the edge. Kind of like the same concept as shrinking tint. You know, if you're pulling it or trying to push it all the way to the edge before it shrunk, you're going to start binding it up. So I just basically push the flat part down right to where that little bevel starts, where things start getting a little weird. And I stop right there. Here's a perfect spot. See what happened here? It was locked a little bit over here, and so it just folded it over itself. We grab this, we can slide it right under here. We can get right up under where that happened, and now it's basically gone. I'll bring that down to where it's flat. Actually, I'm going to leave the place where I creased it loose because I'll show you magic here in just a minute. And I'll make sure the rest of this is all good to there. Make sure the rest of this is all good to there. And then basically the rest of it, heat is your friend. So we're going to stand it up and we're just going to give it heat. Now, a lot of instinct will tell you to push while you're heating, kind of like shrinking tin. I learned that you don't. You just get it warm and leave it because it's going to relax and settle down itself. So I'll go to the other side. I'm pretty happy with that. So the side I did first, I'll go to first. Oh, got a couple little bubbles there. And I'll just take and I'll run my finger along that edge. That is all relaxed and settled down on its own. The top was a little worse for wear, so I'm going to be a little more careful with that. But since it's cooled a minute, I got a little bit of air trapped right there. I can run my finger over that individually. And you just follow it around, kind of watching for, get off there, watching for things that might not be right or might fold over, because it is warm, so you don't want to fold it over now because it'll be more of a challenge. But that is it. And beautiful seam. Wish they lined up color wise a little bit better, but there is a wrapped keg. See how easy? And that's all there is to it. Sometimes we overthink it and make it a lot more difficult. I get a lot of phone calls from people asking about, like, what they're doing wrong. They're fighting and they're having a hard time. And most of them, that hinging with the tape is something that's not a part of their plan. So they're already starting off without a good alignment. But then a lot of people think that, you have to lock it down all the way around as you're wrapping it. And that's just not the case. With the air release glue, you just wrap it around there. And if, that's why I use the tape on the one end to hold it flat, because if you got good tension, most of the air is already out of it. So there's nothing to really deal with. Kind of like the same thing when you're wrapping glass in a panel. You'll pull it real tight and apart and lay it down, and there's almost no air in there. So then you just set it with your felt card. But that is that. I did this. This person's going to get their keg now. Yay. And hopefully I don't have anything else to do. Let me flip this around. We're going to take another walk. You guys have been through the shop before, right? Got a little bit of film going out. Today is a really slow day. There's some boxes over here. We got my cabinet over here because I was starting to build up things that I just didn't have places for. So I put those there. And then, of course, the tool room, everybody's favorite place. All the soak shields, different colors. All the ETR, all the tri-edges, hard cards, scrub its, the glass aid stuff, squeegees, squeaky monkey, all the things. So, yeah. Anyways, let's go back to my desk and see if we can't get back to a normal stream. Hey, look. Oh, it goes forever. Yay. Look at it go. 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 In the back. All right. You leave. Yes. All right. So did you guys get all that? What was it? Was the audio good? Because I didn't. I think I kind of checked the audio because I got the feedback, but yeah. So that's wrapping a keg. Oh, another thing. Shoot, I should give me just. Let me. Okay, so shoot. I was kind of hoping Alex was going to be here because I had a whole lot more, and I was just in the room with the parts. But I've seen a lot of posts, and you know what? Next week, hell or high water, I'm going to set up in the keg room, and next week we're going to completely tear apart a keg. We're going to take apart all the parts that I use. We're going to look at the guts inside of them. And honestly, I probably ought to order a couple of the cheap garbage shit that people keep telling, build your own. And that's fine if you're on a budget and you want to save money, build your own. Absolutely. And I'll even show you how. And I'll take you on the ins and the outs and everything involved with what you need to know when building your own tank. Because just because you can find all the parts that will piece together, hold water, hold pressure, and spray it on a window, doesn't mean you're going to be problem free. You use the wrong parts, you're going to invite contamination into your mix, and you're going to spray that on your customer's window, and you're going to have grief for it. You're also going to have things that kind of fall apart. Let's see if I can show you a case in point. And a lot of people, they love the Flexilla hose. I can't say that the Flexilla hose is the worst thing in the world, but I can certainly say it is not the best thing in the world. Um, but it's a decent hose, and the construction of it is going to hold up. It's got a silicone liner on the inside and a rubber outside, and it stays flexible. and it's really nice. But the problem is the walls of it's a little bit thin, and so it's not as durable. And that's why I adopted the Curry Tech brand, because the Curry Tech brand is much more durable. Believe it or not, it's actually more flexible than the Flexilla hose, and it's got the same construction. So it's got the silicone inside, and I actually should have a piece around here somewhere handy that I usually, I don't know. My desk's a mess. I can't find anything. But I did have some around here. 'Cause I talk about it a lot, but I don't know where it went. So, anyways, though, here's something that I could probably show you. Here we go. So, this I actually used to, you know what, let's remove the chat overlay. We'll make that a little bit bigger. So this is the Flexilla hose. This is one of ours that we sold a customer a few years back. And he seems to have a problem with the swivel. Can you see what's going wrong there? In fact, I think, yeah, there we go. See what happens here is it's aluminum. And you see that white crusty stuff going on right in this area right here? That's what happens with aluminum when it's exposed to water constantly. And I didn't know that when I first started doing these. And back then, Flexilla was one of the top brands in the industry. And they make air hoses, but the construction of their hose will support water. Well, I didn't realize this construction of their swivels wouldn't support water. And actually, one would probably assume that aluminum doesn't rust. Well, that white stuff, they actually call that white rust. And it's basically the same concept as the aluminum's oxidizing, it's changing its properties. It's getting weak and brittle and eventually will break. What I found though is brass is much more durable. I mean, don't get me wrong, stainless steel is going to be the ultimate durable, but fun fact, a stainless steel swivel, I can get them, but my cost is about $75 each. I love to help you guys, but I'm pretty sure you guys aren't going to pay me $100 a piece for swivels. So we just don't even mess with stainless steel swivels. Any stainless steel parts I can get my hands on, I do, because ultimately stainless steel is the way to go. Second best way to go is going to be brass. And you see a lot of your bathroom faucets and fixtures made of brass. They last forever. They turn a little greenish. They get that, tarnish look to them, but they don't deteriorate over time. And that's why I support brass. Well, the swivels that I replaced these ones for, we'll just pop that back up there again real quick. But the swivels that I replaced these for, and many of you probably have them, are the brass swivels. And I get probably one out of maybe 1,000 on a warranty, because, well, they are manufactured and they are moving parts and things are going to go wrong. They last probably 2 to 3 years of hard use, and I give them a lifetime warranty. So, I mean, you use it, it wears out, let me know, I send you a new one. But all my kegs have been, if you have a problem, let me know, I send you a new part, I get you taken care of. And even the guy with that swivel that broke, and that's a recent one, he gets a new swivel, he gets the new upgraded swivel, but I haven't used that swivel in probably, I want to say almost 4 years, maybe 4 years. So yeah. And what's up, Dave? So that's a little bit about that. If you have any questions and you want to build yourself a keg, feel free to reach out to us. Ayana and Alex are both well educated on the do's and don'ts of the kegs and the whys and why nots and what to use and what not to use. We're happy to sell you the parts that you need, but if you want to source them yourself, I will tell you that I have to source the parts. I have to buy them in bulk. And yes, in order to stay in business and write those guys' paychecks, I have to mark them up. So if you do what I do, you will save money. And I'm not going to hate you for it. There are people out there making sprayers that freak out when I show people and help people build their own kegs. But then again, my whole business doesn't rely on the tint keg. I built the tint keg. I come out with the tint keg. And Tint Keg's a brand, okay? I didn't come out with the corny tank. I just made it more professional for us. And I got a few people out there that decided that I had a great idea and thought they would copy it for themselves to profit. And that's cool. I'm not mad about that. But the bottom line is, I started doing the tint keg because I didn't like the options that were available. You could call your distributor and you could order a tank, or you could go to a home brew place and get a tank and try to cobble yourself up your own setup. Well, it just so happens I had a setup that I absolutely adored. And Matt from Tint Studio was working for me at the time. And when he did his very first class, those people came in and they're like, "Oh, that is so awesome. Do you sell those?" And I'm like, "Well, I could sell you one." And they told me the same thing I already knew, that, they didn't have one because the other places that sold the corny tanks, just they hated the coily hose and the options weren't there, and they wanted something that more fit their needs, not just a cobbled up mess that would work. So that's where Tint Keg was actually born. And Karaoke is the only reason that it's got the cool ass wrap and the wrap options, because I was happy just building a better keg and offering that. But we were talking to Carrie one weekend and I said, wouldn't it be cool if we could somehow like brand it? So, because that's all we ever talked about back then is branding, because she was going through school and she was learning about all that stuff. And I said, wouldn't it be cool if we could somehow brand it so that it would give the tinner a sense of pride when they carried that into a customer's house, instead of the customer saying, "Isn't that like a soda keg?" Because I had, my whole life I had that conversation with customers and I didn't appreciate it. Yeah, it is, but no, it's my spray tank. And just over the course of the weekend, she came up with the Tint Keg logo, which was just absolutely blew my mind. I mean, we started talking like Saturday and we talked a little bit Sunday, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, out comes where to go? Out comes this, and let's try this again. This. Yeah, so talk about cool. And she came up with Tap Into Awesome. And honestly, I don't know. I'm on the fence about it. At first, I didn't like it, but I just love the logo in general. And she's done all of my branding for me. She's done all the art of everything up until, she started getting Brittany involved with dabbling with Photoshop and Illustrator. And then Alex is taking it to the nth degree because he's going to school for it now and other things too. So that's its own kind of super cool. And got something going on out front, so I just need to take a quick peek. But that's its own kind of super cool. And yeah, so he does a lot of the art for us. In fact, if you get chances are, if you order a custom wrap, he's the one you're going to deal with. I did it for a little while because I was forced back in the early 2000s to learn Photoshop and graphics, and I just never wanted to. I was a window tinner, period. And I honestly thought, here, let me just move this out of my way because I keep leaning over into it. So we'll put it over there. But I honestly thought that I didn't want to do anything but tint windows, but I was forced to learn PPF. I was forced to learn vinyl lettering, car wrapping, graphics, vectorizing. Oh, it was just, it went on and on and on. And it was because, as many of you guys know, as a window tinner, you find yourself busy a lot, but you also find yourself with a lot of spare time on your hands. Like I got nothing to do right now, or, you know, and my boss was the kind of guy that absolutely needed, you know, if he's paying me, he needs me to be busy. So he kept coming up with all these things that I needed to do. Well, I wasn't busy tinting cars. My answer to him was just sell more tint jobs. Jeez, you know, but you know, so there's that. Hands down. So how many of you guys are actually ready for I got nobody on Facebook. Is the Facebook feed working? Because I don't think I've had anybody on Facebook the entire time. I mean, don't get me wrong. I try to push people towards YouTube because YouTube typically works better. I don't know. Is it on? It is on. Just don't have anybody on Facebook watching. Isn't that crazy? Okay. That's all I needed to know. Oh, goodness. Oh, heck. I just realized my daughter's been today. That's the other thing. I typically don't check messages. Um, the best thing to do is reach out to Sun Distributing, even if you want to get a hold of me during the day. But I'm I'm not typically like at my phone, and I'm not typically replying to messages. I'm not getting messages. Sometimes I hear the notification, but I'm usually doing something, and I just, you know, that's the other thing. That boss that made me do all that other stuff and learn all that other stuff, he was not an advocate of phone time or screen time. You know, it's like you're at work, you need to be working. So that kind of got instilled in me a bit. So yeah, that is going to be the thing. Let me switch back. And this is why. Did you see how I just kind of faded off there? I need to log out of this. I only logged in to take a look and see if the feed was working, and off I went. You know, I was like, "Oh, shiny." Customer type people. I love customer type people that come and visit. Although this time I didn't get a chance to visit with them, but it's okay. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. It is what it is. So yeah, Tim says they're going crazy with all the odd jobs and embroidering. Yeah, I get it. I get it. Tomorrow, Tim, reach out and remind me I need to order towels because I'm not gonna like I'm not gonna do it tonight, obviously, and um, I won't remember tomorrow. Oh, by the way, how about those Lions? I hadn't even talked about football at all, you know. And forgive me if you're not a Lions fan, but you do need to understand that Lions have sucked for a lot of years. And apparently they don't suck anymore. And they're doing pretty well. I mean, they got their hiccups, obviously. If you did watch the game, you'll notice that defense is struggling to get on par with each other, and there's communication issues, and they're playing a little soft, and they're allowing their pass defense is just like non existent. And so, got some things to clean up. But, God, how about our offense? Jeez, we can go down the field and score. So, oh, happy Thanksgiving to you and everybody, actually, because that is coming up pretty soon, isn't it? When is that? That is, holy cow, a week from Thursday, isn't it? Well, goodness gracious. That'll be fine. We can have Thanksgiving next week. But you know what that means? Get your stuff while you can because things with shipping are going to start getting weird. Amazon's going to start having all their specials and going to start loading up UPS trucks, although Amazon's been doing a lot of their own deliveries lately, which is good. They probably transitioned over a little bit heavier to their own deliveries with the whole ensuing strike, but that's over with. So, like, I don't know, Christmas season's coming up, and UPS and them are like really, really, really slammed and overwhelmed usually from Thanksgiving on. So if you got things to order them. And UPS has not come yet today. So if you need to order something today and you want it to go out today, that's an option too. Hurry up and get that out. And ugh, I got so many things to do, and little by little, I keep plucking away at them. But it seems like if I get one thing done, I get two things added to my list. Has anybody else ever experienced that? That just seems like a real life thing. And maybe I just ain't doing them fast enough. Yesterday, I had to go to the Secretary of State, which some of you guys might know that as the DMV, but we don't call it DMV here. We don't call soda pop either. Or, I mean, we don't call soda soda, we call it pop. Because I don't know why. Explanation that was given to me is it's called soda pop, and soda is like two syllables and pop is one. So, I mean, which one would you call it? I'm like, I don't know. Most of the rest of the world calls it soda, but whatever. There is that small part of the South that calls it Coke. Like this is this is Diet Cherry Pepsi Coke. So that I don't know. That confuses me sometimes. But we were down in Kentucky, and um, Mary went and asked the people at the hotel if they had a pop machine. And the lady looked at her like she grew a horn or something. She's like, no, no, I don't think so. And we went the whole weekend thinking the hotel didn't have a pop machine. And it turns out they did. The lady in Kentucky just didn't know what pop was. She knew what Coke was and she knew what soda was, but she didn't know what pop was. And it's like, oh, okay. Got to remember that when you travel. Yep. Yup, yup, yup. What time is it? It's 4:45. Is it almost quitting time for anybody? Because it's almost quitting time for me. And it's Tuesday. That means it's garbage day. But I don't know. Half of the world celebrated Veterans Day yesterday. Oh, by the way, if you're a veteran, you served, thank you. That took a lot. Um, I don't know that personally because I never had the opportunity to serve, but I know that that would be a hard choice to go away from home and do that for like no reward. It's one of the most selfless things that I think somebody as an American could do. So thank you. And Yeah. Is anybody's garbage going to be delayed a day this week because of Monday being the first weekday or business day that was after the holiday? Because that confuses me too. And UPS ran. So, like, usually they take off all those bank holidays, but the banks weren't open. So that's its own thing. Your garbage was not? Okay. Well, I'm going to put my garbage out tonight, anyways, because it's, I have a right to. I don't think I have to pay attention to the calendar if it sits out there an extra day, so it does. They can, they can, tell me that I'm the reason that they call it water tucky. Because my trash cans will sit out an extra day. Although I probably am the reason they call it water tucky, but that's just because I just don't. I mean, they sell these parcels of property without enough space. Give me more space, I'll hide my stuff out back. But the front yard's all I have to work with. They're just lucky I have this place because a lot of my stuff that would be in the front yard is here. There's that. And how does one go about finding a big old pole barn or something to rent? Because I need a place that my trailer will fit in. I want to deskin it and take all the interior walls out. And I got a couple of structural issues I feel like I need to address, but obviously I don't want to start taking it all apart with it all exposed to the world. So first world problems, huh? And these are all things that I think I can do without money because, we are at that time of the year where money's going to get a little sparse. So that's the other thing. Winter's coming, guys, and it's coming fast. If it ain't already affecting you, good for you because winter's coming fast and phones are ringing less, days are opening up, which means the bank account's getting a little different and not in a good way, usually. And I've always preached to people put the money away in the summertime so that you can enjoy the slowness of the wintertime. But this last couple of years, even for myself, it's been difficult. One, it doesn't seem like the money is as plentiful as it was, which makes it harder to put the money aside. But two, everything costs so much more. And so what do you do? You know, guess we're just going to do the best we can. I mean, don't get me wrong. There was a time in life where um, the utility guy came and knocked on the door, and I used to get laid off in the wintertime between Christmas and like the end of January. And he come knocking on the door and he said he was there to shut off my electric. And it was a tough year for us. And I looked him dead in the eyes and told him he did not bring enough people or cops to allow that to happen safely. And he looked at me and he said, I'll put that in my report. And he left and he didn't shut my power off. And I managed to scramble and get the bill paid. It was more of an oversight on my part, but not so much. It was just trying to stretch an extra month to pay a bill because like sometimes you got to do those things. And I worry that those things are going to start happening again if things don't brighten up a little bit. And it's a tough one because obviously we need people to spend money with us. On the other hand, in order for people to spend money with us to keep that circle going, we need to spend money with people. And that's why I'm still holding steadfast to trying to carry as much made in the USA stuff and as little made in China stuff as I can because I want to support the people that matter most, and the people that matter most are here in the United States. They're not in China. I don't want to send my money over there. There's certain things that I don't have a lot of choice, or my choice is China or a different other country. And, for that I'll go with price. But if I'm weighing price against an American paycheck, that I could go save money, but I'm going to take away from somebody's paycheck, I tend to lean towards helping somebody's paycheck, doing what I can where I can. I know that I'm not going to change the world. I'm not going to change the economy. I just know that when I go to bed at night, I know that I did what I could for someone else. And that's what it all boils down to, right? So, oh, yeah, that's rough. I've been hearing a lot of that too, Tim. A lot of people saying that their phones just kind of died. Like nothing's happening. We're so far over at the tent shop. We're doing okay. I mean, we're getting the bills paid every week, which this time of year it shouldn't. Usually we're pretty strong right up until Thanksgiving, and over there we haven't been strong in a minute. It's been a grind. And then your phone starts ringing and the jobs start lining up. And that's the other thing too. A good motto to have is take it when you can get it. The more you grind and beat yourself up when you are busy or overwhelmed, the more it allows you to enjoy the time that you're not. So that's kind of important. But honestly, guys, and David Weimer might have a treat for us next week too, because he needs to interview somebody for school. And I don't know what that entails. And honestly, I don't care. I'll just, but I told him I'd do it. And he said maybe we could do it on a tool talk. So I told him next Tuesday, because this Tuesday I thought I already had stuff planned and it just didn't work out. So maybe next week we can squeeze that in with the interview. So that would be fun. We'll get David on here live and see if he gets stage fright or not. Well, Tim, you got your hand in so many pots that, of course, you're always busy, but you're not always busy with tint, or you're not always busy with shirts, or you're not always busy. You got enough things going on that you're always busy. But, the downfall to that is I've also seen you where you're having to turn away business, and it sucks to turn away business. It sucks to have to turn away business because you got too many things to do, and nobody wants to turn away money. It sucks, but wasn't going crazy with any advertising, but I had what I needed, and now I'm just slow as anything. No rush on it. I'll have probably about 10 or 12 questions, but you can always elaborate as much as, well, I like to elaborate. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. Once you get my mouth moving. I mean, hell, look, I just sat here and talked to you guys for an hour and I struggled to look at the comments. So yeah. Oh, I have one person from Facebook on here. Well, that's good. I'm glad that's working, because for a minute I was thinking it wasn't working. But I don't know. I think I'm good. I covered everything that I could think to cover. Next week, though, mark your calendars, because we're gonna disassemble a keg. We're gonna talk about all the O-rings, what they do. We're gonna talk about how to maintain your keg. We're going to talk about, the do's and don'ts. We're going to talk about what each part does, and if you have this problem or that problem, how to identify what the problem is, because there's no reason to, especially if you do build your keg, you're liable to make a mistake and have a problem. And, last thing you want to do is have a problem and not be able to fix it or not know what to fix. It's like a lot of people with cars when they're having car problems, they just start throwing sensors and stuff at it, because they don't know how to properly diagnose it. Well, I think personally, I think a keg is simple enough that you should be able to diagnose it and know exactly what the problem is. Most of the time, if you call me or Alex or Ayana, and describe the problem you're having, we could pretty much tell you where the problem is. But I'd rather teach you how to know where the problem is, because it'll give you the opportunity to help somebody else. There's a lot of people out there trying to save money, and there's a lot of these Amazon lists that just make me cringe. As far as, just order this stuff, you can have a keg for under $100. What nobody tells you is that refurbished Pinlock keg that your refurbished Pinlock keg that you're buying is a 40-year-old keg, and even though it's stainless steel, it doesn't last forever. I've gotten a couple of people that have reached out to me that got by that because, you know the welds don't last forever. There's certain aspects about it that, you know it's hard to explain, but if you got a keg and it's all of a sudden leaking, that sucks, especially if it's the tank that's leaking, because there ain't no fixing that. And a 40-year-old tank, remember, they haven't made Pinlock kegs since 1985. That was that was the onset, or maybe it was 83. I don't know. It was in the mid 80s, anyways, and that was the onset of the bag in the box soda pop. Because soda pop, the syrup used to come in a stainless steel keg, and they reused those kegs. It would get empty, they'd send it back, and it would get refilled. The funny thing about it is, it would get refilled. They never got cleaned out. They just got refilled over and over for years. And the only reason there's so many out is because before they would have problems with it, it would get chucked and they would start with a fresh new one. But at the end, when Pepsi and Coke announced their bag in the box, you get a little cardboard box with a plastic bag in it, and that had your syrup in it, and that plugged into the same system. So now all of a sudden, in an instant, all these corny kegs became obsolete. And it wasn't until the onset of these homebrew shops that they started getting manufactured again, and the microbrewers and things of that nature. And so they became popular enough to manufacture. Now we don't have a manufacturer for them in the United States. There's a couple of keg manufacturers, but they don't mess with the corny kegs. So they let the Indians, the Chinese, or the Germans, I think, I don't know. They let those other three countries deal with it, which there is a big market in the United States for corny kegs, and everyone's missing out. And I've talked to a couple of the keg manufacturers, and they're just like, well, if you could guarantee me, 100,000 of them a year, we'll start the manufacturing process. And I'm like, I can guarantee you 1,000 a year. But beyond that, it's up to everybody else, and it's up to you guys to market to all those people and let them know that, hey, you got a quality American made product that you can sell them right here. But no. So that's not happening. Jeff Welsh got on board with trying to help kind of boost that, and it just runs dead, because we can't make the big enough promises and to get them the amount of manufacturing that they need to be on the price point that we would need, So it is what it is. But yeah, just understand that when you build one yourself, it's going to be to the quality standards of your knowledge, whether it be your knowledge of what parts are the best parts to put in it, or your knowledge of the inner workings of the keg and what's going to work best in it. Um, if you don't have the knowledge and you just take one of those lists that somebody posts all the links on Facebook and says, "Here, just buy these. It'll be the cheapest thing ever." You're gonna hate the hose. You're some of the sprayers. Some of these guys are using air blowers that are a cast aluminum air blower that don't use that with water. That thing is going to break up and deteriorate so fast and give you problems so fast. I mean, don't get me wrong. It'll hold pressure, it'll spray water. In the beginning, you'll think it's fantastic. But in the end, it's going to cost you more than you saved because of the jobs you'll have to redo. So there's that. Hey, look, UPS finally got here. UPS tries to wait until 5 o'clock. We close at 5 o'clock. And we've got them working pretty well with us so that, because I just tell them flat out, I ship a ton with you guys. And, you know, it's almost like, what's the sense of us being here until the end of the day if we can't ship things out until the end of the day? Where a lot of these other suppliers are like, um, oh yeah, same day shipping if you can get it in by noon Pacific time. It's like, hey, wait, what? Um, no, we're here till 5 o'clock Eastern, and typically, if you get your order in by 4:30, it'll go out the same day. Most of the time, if you get it in by 5, it'll go out the same day, because UPS drivers will even wait for us. So, if we've got an order or two hanging, they'll they'll hang out and wait with us. And so there's that. At this moment, everything has went out. Uh, Good. Film handlers. We're selling the hell out of the film handlers, but that's okay. We like selling the hell out of film handlers. The reason for that is because every time somebody gets one, they tell like 5 people that they wish they would have bought one sooner. And a lot of times, one of those 5 people will be like, maybe I should get one. So there's that. But yeah, next week we're gonna get in the ins and outs. We're gonna turn a keg completely inside out. Oh shoot! You know what? There is 6 of you guys left with me because I'm just sitting here babbling. But I will tell you right now, we're doing a giveaway, and maybe tomorrow I'll do a post. I don't know. We'll see if Alex shows up, if he's able to come in. But I'll try to do a post and announce this. But from what? Let's just make it from see. Let's just make it from Thanksgiving till Christmas. You know what? Maybe I don't know. Whenever I make the announcement, you'll know the details of when the entries start. But every order um, is going to go into a drawing, and you can order as many times as you like during that time, and every order is going to be an entry into the drawing. Alex kind of went above and beyond. We were just talking, and you know, sometimes these things start out with a conversation that is just like it's really just a time filler conversation, and I think the conversation started out, wouldn't it be cool if we had a keg that looked like an ugly Christmas sweater? Well, truthfully, a keg that looked like an ugly Christmas sweater would kind of not be something you'd want to use or even show off, or it's kind of, I don't know. In my head it sounded good, but Alex started playing with it. Next thing we know, he comes up with this guy. And you notice all the little Christmas ornaments around here. And you come around here and we got a Christmas tree, Come around a little further. We got Santa Claus. Yeah, so we got a Christmas keg. And we're going to give this away the day after Christmas. And that's how you're going to enter to win. No special treatment, nothing like that. You place an order, and I'll let you know when that starts. It might start tomorrow. So, I mean, don't wait to order. But all those names, we're going to bring back out the spinny wheel that, you know, the wheel of names. Is that what they call it? I don't know. Whatever they call it. The spinny wheel. Anyways, this guy. Ta-da! Yep. We're going to bring that out, and it's going to have a ton of names on it. And your name can be on it one time. Your name could be on it 50 times. It doesn't matter. Um, you'll get entered to win. And on December 26th, will be Tool Talk Tuesday, and we will do the drawing for the winner of that keg. So, but yeah, I'll try to see if I can't squeeze that in and get a post made about it, and I might send out a mass email too to everybody, just letting them know that this is going to be up for grabs. And how cool is that? And it's one of those things that you could use it during the holiday season, you could use it year round, or you could put it up on a shelf. Either way, it's going to be a one of a kind. So, good luck to everybody. And it is 8 minutes after 5. My dog really wants to eat, and Mary is a little bit out of town doing a job bid, so I has to go. And I enjoyed hanging out with you guys once again. But until next week, guys, take care of yourself. Be safe. And if I don't see you or you don't see me between now and Thanksgiving, happy Thanksgiving. And until next time.